Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video slash podcast episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Y'all know when I got the mic out, I mean business. So let's get into it. So for the past 2 weeks on this channel slash podcast, we've talked about lots of L's. You feel me? We were talking about lust, love bombing, love itself, and all that. But today we're gonna tap into some C's. Okay. We're going to be talking about what you always hear about relationships. Oh my God, communication is key. Communication is key. Like, not even just in romantic, just a bunch. Like, talk it out, talk things out. But we don't talk about the other side for us emotional beings, how communication can literally mean nothing to someone who can't comprehend what we're saying. Yeah, wake that up, wake that up. I'm going to put it like this in a quick little example. As a girl, have you ever texted someone a paragraph about how you felt? You put, I feel this way because you wrote a whole essay. Point B, point that, I felt this way because you did that. That made me feel like this. That's how I felt then. This is how I feel now. And the response you get is, what? I don't know what to say. And you want to rip your hair out? I'm sure we've all had a moment like that. And that is a pure example of how your communication can literally do nothing if you don't have an emotionally intelligent person who is actually going to listen and comprehend what you say. It means nothing. It has no balance. And you need both of those, communication and comprehension, for things to work. And don't get me wrong, I feel like this can happen a lot, when you're new to a relationship, you're new to a person. Obviously, they can't read your mind. Maybe the person who responded, I don't know what to say, didn't come from a household where people were very expressive. Maybe it was very passive aggressive. They held a lot of feelings in. I definitely believe in giving grace, feeling people out. But as a girl, I know you can relate at one point when you keep communicating and expressing yourself to death, like Janae said, and you keep being met with nothing, no type of moving forward, no type of learning, no type of, oh, he's better at responding to this. It's time to go. Because as a lover girl myself, you are just wasting your breath if you communicate with someone, first of all, who can't comprehend, but also sometimes people just aren't ready to listen. Like I said, if they're not as vulnerable themselves, they're not as in touch with themselves, a lot of people can see you communicating as a threat. How many of y'all have ever heard when you communicated your feelings? Oh, I'm just not trying to argue right now. I'm going to tell you guys a little story time about my first heartbreak from a parent and a boy that made me realize exactly what I'm telling you right now, that my communication does nothing with people who aren't ready to comprehend it. So when I was 18, if you watch some of my videos, you might know I had just turned 19. I got my heart broken for the first time, okay? I was in heartbreak for the first time, and at the same time as that, I was having issues with my mom. It was chaotic. It was silent treatment. It was arguing anytime we tried to talk things out. And I just felt so miserable. Now, before the breakup, I was the typical delusional girl in her first love, or boy, or whatever. A lot of people act like this in their first love, who tried to do and say things in any type of way to get it through their head. Like, I would constantly cry my feelings out to this boy about how I feel like he's acting different, or he's being meaner, or I don't understand, or I would yell it when I would be frustrated, or I would literally write in my notes a long, oh y'all, write it out in a calm way, send it to him, and I was just always receiving nothing back, and it was so exhausting. And then at the same time, on the verge of this breakup and at the end, I was having problems with my mom. I was like, I just feel like you treat me like you're not even my daughter, like I'm not even your daughter. I don't understand where the pettiness stopped. Like, I would constantly try to have conversations with her, and again, yell at her, cry to her, being like, what did I do to make you start acting like this? Like, can we talk about it? Blah, 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 blah. And with both those people, I would always just get met with the same surface level response. I thought that if I explain it this way, or if I explain it that way, or if I write it out, if I paint it out, if I do something, like I had in my mind that there is some way that I can make these people understand and like feel sorry and actually get the point. And I had to learn the very harsh, heartbreaking lesson that that is not how it works, because people do not change when you want them to. They change when they want to, when they're ready. You can't teach someone something that is not in them. And that is so hard to get a hold of, but it's the truth. You know, I'm 21 now. I was 19 back then, and I still just had that innocent mindset of like, wow, like I thought there was always something that I could do to make people care, make people. And then when I realized it isn't, and then I'm like, wow, like no amount of pain can make people see themselves when they're not ready to or change for me. I was always like, if someone loves you so much, they will change for you. And I don't necessarily think that's true again, because someone can love you, but they can still be torn up in all their own stuff that nothing is enough because they're not ready to do the work. And for me, that was just like, man. And that was a really, really heartbreaking lesson, but it was a really important one because although I love that version of myself that was so innocent and, oh, just tell people how you feel, talk it out, they'll understand. It really gave me a reality check to understand that not everybody is ready to face themselves, and it's not my job to change people. And I feel like after I realized that, because woo, if I would have done that again, I would be exhausted again. Once I realized that, it was actually kind of freeing. And I wanted to talk about this because I honestly feel like a lot of people can relate in this sense. Like, I feel like almost everyone in their young life has probably tried so hard to convince people to change, whether that be your friend, your partner, your family member. But I feel like once you realize that that's not true, it's very sad, but it's also freeing because I feel like it teaches you detachment. It teaches you to choose your battles, and whether instead of like waiting around for someone to change or something to change or like literally draining yourself, you just learn that you can only meet people where they're at. Okay? That is literally all you can do, and you've got to move on. It's not going to be easy to do that, but what else can you do? Also, please let me know if you guys want a video on family relationships, setting boundaries with family, because Lord, that was a process. Me and my mom are cool now, but it was a 2 year long process of setting boundaries. Da, 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 da. So I would love to get more into that if you guys are interested. But I am going to touch on it a little bit right now. So with my ex, when we broke up, obviously an ex is an ex. Like, when you guys are done, you're done. I'm never going to have to see him again if I don't want to, all of that. But my mom was someone who I was constantly getting drained by over explaining myself, over communicating all the time because I thought if I did, it would make her get it, and it did not. So it's like, how do you deal with that with someone that you still have to live with, that is still going to be a part of your reality no matter what? I mean, unless I moved out, but you know? That was very, very hard. And I honestly learned how to deal with that when I still live there, with therapy. Now I know to all my other black people, sometimes therapy sounds a little scary. Trust me, it did to me too. But I'm in therapy right now for the second time in my life. And like people say, therapy isn't just a automatic switch, but I feel like it gave me a lot of tools to implement into my world. And when I used those tools, it made it a little easier to bear and deal with the things I was bearing with. Basically, my therapist gave me tools on like what I just said, the obvious. It's not like I'm can just fall off the face of the earth with her. She's my mom. So I just had to learn to pick my battles. Like, I'm done over explaining myself. I don't want to have a conversation, say the same things over again when you're not hearing me. and I just had to choose to live with some distance. And it was sad because it was my mom, but if that was going to bring me more peace and help me not drain myself by communicating, explaining this and that when I'm getting nothing back, it's not benefiting me. So that's what I did, and my life was way more peaceful when I started to do that instead of continue to overcompensate. So now we know what happens when you're an amazing, fabulous communicator, but what you're communicating isn't being comprehended by said intended audience. But what comprehension actually looks like to me, like I said, a lot of people aren't used to emotionally expressive people who are unapologetic and not afraid to be vulnerable about how they feel. So sometimes the awkward reactions at first is fair, but like I said, there has to be some progress. So I feel like to me, comprehension comes from emotional intelligence. Like, whoa, like we may disagree, or maybe I wouldn't have reacted how you did, but I still feel sorry that you were hurt, or I'm willing to listen and hear you out because even though I can't see where you're coming from right now, I want to see where you're coming from so I can understand you a little bit more. Not just, you're wrong. I don't know what to say. What? Oh, that'll drive you crazy, won't it? In conclusion, y'all, to all my lover girls, lover boys, whoever out there, if you are a great communicator, and also I've touched on this before, but also there's a way to communicate. Some people don't communicate very healthy. Don't yell at people or be mean, okay? I mean, unless they really got you fucked up, but just try. Um, when you know you're genuinely doing your best, you communicated in a calm way, you explained everything you could, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, you're not getting the comprehension that you deserve, then you know it's time to move on. Because I don't want you to waste your breath, drain yourself, all of that, okay? Like I said, you can't teach someone something that's not in them. So go find someone else who will hear you because you deserve to be heard. Okay. Anyways, y'all, I hope you gained something from this video. I'm losing my mind a little bit. We had so many technical difficulties during this week, y'all. I actually recorded this 2 days ago, and when I look back on the footage, my mic died about 7 minutes in. I lost my mind. I tried to record another video. It didn't work. So y'all are just gonna get this one this week, and please be happy because I'm losing my mind, okay? But I'm glad I got to re-record today in better spirits, and I hope that it helped in some way. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more yapping, and if you like videos like this, healing content, life be life in content, I have a playlist called Yap Sessions with lots of similar videos that you can check out right here on this page. And I'm on YouTube. I post videos about once or twice a week, normally twice. But if you want to hear me yap it up some more and connect with me in a different way, please follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Alicia Milan, especially TikTok. It's my biggest platform, and I be yapping the most on there. And I also go live, and I see some of you guys on live too, so that's really cool. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video, for listening, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!